I don't understand how you say you love your country at the same time as you normalize this convicted felon, which I can say now every day.
Words help me out here. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of gray.
Certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out.
Carrie Underwood, country music sweetheart, found herself in the middle of a political firestorm for doing nothing more than what any artist would dream of, performing at a presidential inauguration. But what should have been a simple moment of patriotism turned into a full-blown controversy. The internet exploded, and suddenly Carrie was the villain in a drama that had little to do with her music and everything to do with cancel culture. So what happened? How did the moment she said yes to singing America the Beautiful become the spark for a wild debate over politics, free speech, and celebrity influence? Let's break it down.
Carrie Underwood is making you look like a bunch of sissy boys.
Country superstar Carrie Underwood has spent most of her career avoiding political talk, but she's set to perform at the upcoming inauguration. She said in a statement that she's doing it because the country must come together in the spirit of unity and look to the future. And lots of her fans aren't thrilled about it, but lots of her fans are. So let's put this in perspective here. What do y'all think?
We want to cancel people's livelihoods because we don't like their politics. And whether it was the Dixie Chicks for criticizing George Bush, didn't agree with it then, and Carrie Underwood, if you have a problem, you register your complaint by not downloading her songs and not going to her shows.
Before the drama unfolded, Carrie Underwood was the picture of country music perfection. America's girl next door with a voice that could stop traffic and a reputation as clean as they come. She didn't court controversy. Instead, she built her career on being genuine, graceful, and ridiculously talented. From her rise on American Idol to chart-topping hits, Carrie kept her personal life mostly out of the spotlight, letting her music do the talking. No scandals, no feuds, just good old-fashioned country music. But in 2021, things took a turn when Carrie received a coveted invitation to sing at the presidential inauguration. It wasn't just any gig, it was a huge honor. A moment to show the world her love for her country. Carrie was excited, even honored, to be part of such a historic event. In a statement, she talked about unity and the importance of coming together, regardless of political divisions. Seemed harmless enough, right? After all, she was simply doing what any American artist would love to do, celebrate their country on a big stage. But what happened next wasn't what anyone expected. Instead of applause, Carrie found herself at the center of a storm, and what started as a patriotic gesture quickly spiraled into something much more complicated.
Not a bad decision for Carrie Underwood. 75 million people voted for Trump. Artists tend to skew left-leaning, so she's overnight going to become an icon of MAGA and the American right. She's probably going to make a lot of money off of it, so I get why she did it.
I say.
As soon as Carrie Underwood announced she would be performing at the inauguration, the backlash came fast and furious. Some fans felt betrayed, accusing her of supporting a convicted felon, a reference to the president at the time, despite the fact that no one had been convicted of anything that remotely resembled a criminal offense. Social media lit up with calls for boycotts, and people swore they'd never buy her music again. The irony? Carrie had kept her politics close to the chest for years, avoiding any public stance, and yet suddenly, her decision to perform at a national event was seen as a betrayal. It wasn't just the fans who were upset. The media didn't waste any time fanning the flames, calling her everything from a MAGA puppet to a sellout for simply agreeing to sing at a patriotic event. It was a stunning display of how quickly a small gesture of unity could get twisted into a full-scale attack on her character. The media frenzy was like something straight out of a tabloid drama. While Carrie's fans tried to stay level-headed, the loudest voices, particularly on shows like The View, went into full meltdown mode. One host even compared her decision to sing at the inauguration to normalizing a convicted felon, an absurd accusation considering the president wasn't in jail, but the outrage machine wasn't concerned with facts. The narrative quickly shifted from a simple performance to an all-out attack on Carrie's character. She was called a traitor, a sellout, and worse, all because she chose to stand on a stage and sing for her country. Meanwhile, Carrie stayed calm, reiterating her love for the nation and her desire to promote unity. But the damage had already been done. The media painted her as a pawn in a political game, turning a patriotic moment into a divisive spectacle. The irony? By trying to divide, they only made her seem even more steadfast in her beliefs, while proving how quickly the public can turn on someone who steps out of line, even for something as simple as singing America the Beautiful. As the backlash raged on, something unexpected happened. Carrie Underwood gained a wave of new supporters. Many saw her decision as an act of courage, not capitulation. For them, it wasn't about politics, it was about an artist standing up for what she believed in and refusing to let cancel culture dictate her career. These new fans rallied behind her, applauding her for not bowing to the pressure to conform to what was acceptable in the eyes of the media. In a world where celebrities are often expected to hide their personal beliefs to maintain their popularity, Carrie became a symbol of authenticity. It wasn't just country music fans who stood by her, people from all walks of life admired her ability to remain unapologetically true to herself. They understood that her performance wasn't about endorsing a president or a political ideology, it was about celebrating the peaceful transfer of power, a cornerstone of democracy. And with that, Carrie not only weathered the storm but began to attract a more loyal, diverse fan base who respected her for her independence and unshakable sense of self. As the controversy around Carrie Underwood swirled, something even more glaring emerged: the hypocrisy of the very people condemning her. It wasn't just about Carrie anymore. It was a stark reflection of the double standards in the world of cancel culture. Critics who had once rallied behind artists like the Dixie Chicks, who were blacklisted for speaking out against a past president, now wanted to silence Carrie simply because of her choice to perform at a different president's inauguration. The irony? Many of the same voices demanding her cancellation were the same ones who claimed to champion free speech and artistic expression. It highlighted a chilling truth. Political opinions were no longer a matter of personal choice, but a litmus test for who was allowed to have a career. Meanwhile, other country artists like John Rich pointed out how Carrie was taking all the heat for standing her ground, while many of her peers, especially those with big endorsements or record deals, remained silent. They didn't want to risk alienating fans or losing business opportunities. Carrie, on the other hand, wasn't playing the game. She stood alone in her conviction, unapologetically expressing her belief in patriotism and unity. It became clear the loudest voices in the media weren't interested in dialogue, they just wanted conformity. As the dust settled, it was clear that the outrage over Carrie Underwood's inauguration performance had a surprisingly short shelf life. The social media firestorm, the boycotts, the calls for her cancellation, all of it fizzled out once the next cycle of outrage hit. Carrie's career didn't implode like some had hoped. In fact, it seemed to thrive in the aftermath. Her albums continued to sell, her tours kept filling up, and the awards kept piling up on her shelf. What the critics didn't account for was the strength of her loyal fan base, the ones who stuck by her through the storm and respected her for standing firm in her beliefs. And interestingly enough, some of the fans who initially turned on her returned, recognizing that the outrage was more about political agendas than her actual music or character. Carrie didn't just survive the backlash, she emerged stronger. Her decision to perform wasn't about partisan politics, it was about being part of a moment in history. And while her detractors tried to label her as everything from a puppet to a sellout, they only succeeded in making her an even more prominent symbol of resilience in the face of relentless pressure. Carrie Underwood wasn't just a country music star anymore, she became a symbol of standing strong in your convictions, no matter the cost. Carrie Underwood's story isn't just about one performance at a presidential inauguration, it's about the broader battle between personal conviction and the ever-growing pressure of public opinion. In a time when the lines between politics and art have never been more blurred, Carrie proved that you can stand up for what you believe in without losing who you are. Despite the fury of cancel culture and the polarizing nature of modern-day politics, she didn't back down. Instead, she embraced the challenge, and in doing so, she reminded us all of something important. The true power of art is in its ability to transcend divisions and bring people together. Carrie's legacy isn't just her music, it's the way she navigated the storm, sticking to her values while the world around her seemed ready to tear everything apart. At the end of the day, she came out of it stronger, more respected, and still rocking the charts, showing us all that staying true to yourself might just be the most powerful thing you can do, no matter the noise.